We are building credible AI for you. Credible AI's goal is to build the credibility layer of the internet. What does that mean? It means, very simply put, can we build a platform that when you look at something online, we can give you a red, yellow, green on what you're looking at in terms of whether you should trust it or not. We'll base this based on a ton of information, a lot of visible and behind the scenes signals, past behavior, provenance of the information that you're looking at. And it'll help you determine if information that you're looking at, which could be important for yourself, for your family, for your business, for whatever context you're using that information in, that we can help you vet that. We can be your companion as you're consuming that, as you're using that, as you're forwarding that to your team or to your family or to your colleagues. Why are we building this? We have realized that it's increasingly difficult to assess the quality of information that you look at. When you look at a video, when you look at a news article, when you look at a press release, when you look at a company's announcement of a product, or even something as what you would think would be accurate as their earnings report, for example, it can tend to happen that there's a lot of things happening behind the scenes that you should be aware of, but you're not, right? Maybe somebody who is selling a product has some kind of sponsorship in the background, but it's a soft sell, and so that's not really revealed in their video. Maybe when you're looking at a press release, again, there's hidden incentives behind the scenes that you're not aware of. Maybe there's different levels of funding or hidden incentives that just are not required to be publicized. And even though that's maybe potentially public information, it's just not something that comes across in that content or in that delivery. So we sat down and we thought about, how do we build a system that gives you back that time, gives you back that sanity, and more importantly, gives you that certainty around when you're looking at some information that you're going to base any decision in your life on, that we can help break it down in a way that ultimately you can determine whether you can trust that information or not. Now, that's obviously a huge enterprise and a huge endeavor, and it'll take us a while to get to that ultimate vision. But in the meantime, what we want to do is we want to give you the best tools for the consumption of credible content. We want to give you a tool which we've built called Skim, that when you look at any piece of news, when you look at any YouTube video, it gets you to the point instantly without taking you out of context, kind of being your companion in the moment. So if you look at our news product, when you look at any news article on any of our websites that we operate on, you can instantly see a breakdown of what's going on in the story. You can instantly see any obvious directional markers pointed out. And we give you enough information to, again, determine, which is this an opinion heavy article? Is this a facts heavy piece? Is this worth spending all your time on? What are the hidden incentives that may be happening here that you should be aware of? Same with YouTube videos. You could be looking at staring at a 4 hour long podcast or a multi-hour long video, and just be sitting there kind of being overwhelmed by, how can I even get through this? And our goal there is to quickly vet that video for you, and more importantly, give you a way to get to the best, most relevant pieces of that video for you, right? So giving you a way to get to the key points in such a clear way that you can get the maximum value out of it, while the creator is still getting credit, because we're not taking you out of context. We're actually keeping you on the video. And you're able to potentially watch, let's say, even more content than you would have otherwise, because you're actually able to consume it more effectively. Or you're able to save a bit of time for yourself and then invest that in other areas of your life. So our mission is very simple. What can we do to help you consume and create credible content in a more simple and effective manner? What can we do to help you build trust in the sources of information that you're perusing on a daily basis, whether it's for your family, for your business, for yourself? And then most importantly, what can we do to help build up your cognitive defenses? Because again, we are in a situation now where when you look at something, whether it's on social networks or online, it's very difficult to ascertain if that's worth trusting, if that's something that not just is something that's good enough for a laugh and a like, but that's something that you would actually want to base real life decisions off of. And that gets increasingly complicated when you realize that you could search for the same piece of information on a chat GPT or one of these frontier LLMs. And every time you search for it, and there's, I mean, I guess technically nothing wrong with how it's doing it because it is supposed to be a predictive language learning model, right? So it's basically predicting a series of responses to your question based on all of its training. The problem is that every time you search for something, even the same thing, you're going to get a different result. And when you search for something and when I search for that exact same thing, you and I are going to get different results. And I think that is a bad recipe. That's a recipe for a lot of miscommunication, misunderstandings, and just getting us to a place where it's hard for us to operate if you and I don't have the shared context on something, even if we're searching for or looking for the same pieces of information. And so ultimately, our goal is to build that shared context, is to give us a platform as humanity for collective sense making. That is Credible AI's ultimate vision. And in the meantime, like I said, there's steps along the way that we are taking to help us kind of start painting that vision, with Skim being our first product that is fully live, and we'd love for you to take a look. If this resonates, would love to have you be part of the journey. Please stay tuned and please share any feedback that you have because we're building this, like I said in the beginning, for you.